everything comes down to objectives. Bunches of individuals split their exercise meetings at the rec center among cardio and strength preparing, and the request that you do the activities can affect your outcomes. The science is really uncertain about on the off chance that one is superior to the next to do first. Everything relies upon whether you need to get more fit, gain muscle, or work on by and large well-being. Along these lines, it can serve to initially assess your objectives and afterward conclude which request might be best for you. Defining weight loss. Weight reduction is the term used to depict losing a unit of mass, kilograms, pounds, stones, and so on, after some time. This is taken by remaining on a weight scale. Diminishes in weight can emerge out of water misfortune, lack of hydration or sweat, food squander leaving the body, muscle misfortune, and fat misfortune, and now and again, deficiency of bone thickness too. Defining fat loss. Fat misfortune alludes to a diminishing in how much muscle versus fat lost after a time frame. It can frequently take more time to have diminishes in muscle versus fat misfortune than weight reduction, basically on the grounds that quick weight reduction comes from loss of water and food squander leaving the body. What are your goals? With regards to choosing whether to hit the treadmill or loads first during your exercises, it's really smart to begin with your objectives. Would you like to get thinner or gain muscle tone? Perhaps you need to work on your perseverance or assemble greater muscles. One normal misinterpretation is that cardio is the main activity for getting thinner, yet both cardio and strength preparing are significant for this. The case for doing cardio first. Cardio is legitimate to be successful at consuming calories. Assuming you lift loads for 30 minutes as opposed to doing some other cardio action for a similar measure of time, cardio will consume more calories. In light of that, you might need to begin your exercises with cardio at a consistent power to get into the pulse zone you really want for consuming fat. You can then progress into powerlifting, which will make an afterburn that helps consume calories after you're finished working out. You don't for a moment even fundamentally need to work your body hard to receive the rewards of a cardio exercise. Cardiovascular activity at a lower force, in the fat-consuming zone, high-impact preparing zone, will assist you with getting in shape. But it should be supported for longer time frames, said Molly Millington, a fitness coach situated in London. Lifting loads first, particularly on the off chance that you are lifting weightly utilizing your whole body, will wear you out before you make it to the cardio piece of your exercise. That implies you could stop your exercise and not receive the calorie-consuming reward of cardio, particularly if you have any desire to consume as many calories you can in a limited time. All things considered, attempt both beginning with cardio and beginning with weight training to get a feeling of what turns out best for you. Assuming you are performing practices with light loads, that can assist with getting your pulse up and prepare your body for running, tracking, or another cardio movement. Ultimately, assuming you like to run, bicycle, or swim and need to work on your speed or generally speaking perseverance, then picking cardio first is brilliant in light of the fact that you're going into those exercises new. This way, you are beginning with the main activity for your drawn-out objectives and will gain ground all the more rapidly. The case for doing weights first. On the off chance that your principal objective is to work on your solidarity, have the option to lift weighty things or fabricate more muscle, then at that point, lifting loads initially is ideal. Try not to wear out your body by doing cardio first. The less drained you are, the more redundancies you'll have the option to do with right structure, and great structure is vital for performing strength preparing practices securely and actually. Doing loads initially may likewise be useful for fat misfortune when joined with cardio, as per Millington. In principle, doing loads initially would place your body into high impact mode, so when you get to running, you will currently be in a vigorous fat consuming state. So you might keep up that vigorous state longer while running and consequently utilize fat as an energy source, Millington said. Like I said over, this is best when you are lifting lighter loads that don't weaken your whole body. At last, despite the fact that science is really uncertain about if hitting the treadmill or loads initially is ideal, one thing that is extremely clear is that doing both is advantageous. Concentrates on showing that doing a blend of the two is best for general well-being, expending muscle and decreasing muscle versus fat. If you have any desire to hit the treadmill and weightlifting at 100% exertion, then at that point you can take a stab at doing them on isolated days, permitting your body to in the middle between. In the event that you like to do both immediately, see what feels and turns out best for you. I'm a firm devotee to living life to the fullest. Exercise can be fun, Millington said. In the event that you are ready during your warm-up on the treadmill and having some good times, don't stop to do loads. Continue onward until you are prepared to change to loads. Or on the other hand, in the event that you favor loads to running, get going with the more limited run and afterward, treat yourself to loads, Millington said. Why you shouldn't focus on weight loss. When just worried about weight reduction, many individuals would neglect to perceive that assuming they lose 20 pounds, however 5 pounds of it is water misfortune, 7 pounds is muscle misfortune, and the other is 8 pounds is fat misfortune. Almost 40% of the weight they lost came from loss of muscle tissue. This is a typical issue when health food nuts disregard powerlifting, utilize crash diets, and keep protein and calories excessively low for a really long time. This will frequently bring about comparable muscle versus fat ratios as prior to beginning the eating routine, which will have you show up still delicate and not conditioned, otherwise called thin fat. The switch to focusing on fat loss instead. By zeroing in on fat misfortune, which can be estimated by skin fold calipers or different body filters, you can screen fat misfortunes and muscle misfortune all the more intently during the eating routine stage. By and large, you ought to zero in on a more slow pace of weight reduction to work on your possibilities of losing higher rates of muscle to fat ratio and safeguarding however much muscle as could reasonably be expected. I go for generally 0.5 to 0.75 pounds each 7-day stretch of weight reduction on the scale, or somewhat higher, 0.75 to 1.5 pounds for people who are heavier to begin with, 225 to 250 pounds plus. By figuring out the contrast between weight reduction and fat misfortune and the dangers of just zeroing in on shedding pounds on the scale as quickly as possible, you can assist with laying out a more sensible pace of weight reduction. The objective ought to be to keep up with however much muscle as could reasonably be expected to have a more huge improvement in muscle versus fat misfortune and body organization enhancements. Cardio versus weights verdict. Which is better for fat loss? Both cardio and weightlifting work for weight reduction just when matched with a sound eating routine arrangement that has the person in a calorie deficiency. Both cardio and loads can be utilized to consume calories, but just weightlifting can consume calories and construct muscle, or all the more critically not have you lose muscle. While eating less junk food, it means a lot to not put yourself in that frame of mind of a deficiency, as fat misfortune can happen so quickly. Assuming you are shedding pounds quicker than those ranges, this proposes that any extra weight loss on the scale is coming from water misfortune, food squander misfortune, and muscle misfortune. In this way, make certain to adopt a more safe strategy to shedding pounds, pace of misfortune, focus on powerlifting to protect and develop muscle and fortitude while slimming down, and use cardio on a case-by-case basis to assist you with being in a calorie deficiency, supportive when you can't eat less food because of yearning, and so forth. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. That's the end of this video. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. I'll see you in the next one.